And welcome back to the PRCS series here as the field goes to Bristol for race number 11 of the season. My name is Joey Stone, and joining me in the booth is Shady Acres. And the drivers have already given us the command to go and join the lobby, so we'll provide you with that. Go straight to the racetrack and show you some good racing from Bristol. One of the greatest tracks on the schedule, but also one of the most aggressive tracks on the schedule. Let's bring Shady into the booth right now. Shady, my man. Last week definitely was a little bit more of a quiet race, but tonight it's going to be lots of action, lots of crazy stuff left and right as we head to the track. Tell us what you think is going to happen here with race number 11 heading to Bristol.
It's Bristol, baby. You know what that means. Short track racing, bumping and grinding, beating and banging, paint changing. I think it's going to be an interesting show, man. These guys are ready. We're coming down to the end of the season, so guys are really, guys who are not in the playoffs, they got to make a big push. Guys who are in the playoffs have to make an even bigger push to stay there. I expect a lot of exciting racing again tonight. We've been seeing it all season, and as the season is kind of wind down here towards the last half, it has just picked up, brother.
Absolutely, and pardon us for a small delay. It looks as though someone has lagged out from the race, so the field is backing out and redoing the lobby. This sometimes happens in league races on NASCAR Heat 5. It's happened to me quite a few times. So the field wants to make sure everyone has a chance to race. Usually there's like a rule or so that people have when, you know, a certain amount of laps go by that they do not back out for anybody else. So thankfully they caught that early on, and now they'll be able to catch a break here and get that driver back in. So we don't know who the driver was, but since we have it on our minute here, Shady, we're 10 races into the season heading into race number 11. 6 drivers have clinched their spot into the playoffs. You have JCR Clashin, Flash 9, Jay Wow is back, Slade Gravett, It's Your Bro Chase, and with his first win of the season coming last week at Pocono, Mike Bross is the 6th seed at the moment, clinching his way into the playoffs. But there is still 4 spots remaining left. Currently, out of the 4 drivers that have not won a race that are still looking for that exclusive lock key to get into the playoffs, DB in 7th, Kill It Like Jason in 8th, That Man Perky in 9th after a fantastic showing last week, and DK Brown holding the last spot. Now, if we look a little bit lower here, we know we don't have a graphic up, but I'm reading it right off my phone here. We have Cyberon Bionic in the 4, only about 8 points back of DK Brown in the 10th spot with Brenner at 271. So, looking at this, Shady, it looks as though it's going to be a little tough for drivers like Brennator or Initown to clinch their way in. It looks as though they're in a win or out situation. But looking at that last spot between DK and Cyberon, that's a battle we're going to have to watch. So with only a handful of races left here, Shady, what's your mindset heading into a track like this if you're DK or Cyberon?
Push, and more push, man. You got to go. It is definitely go time. And you can't really, you can't really count on any other factors like cautions kind of helping your way. Now here at Bristol, I mean, you know, all season long we have had very minimal cautions. There just hasn't been. These guys are just that good. They're just too good. Their cautions just haven't been there. There's just been some dynamite racing. So, you know, I talked to some of these guys earlier today, and even here at Bristol in the short track, that they're still not anticipating any cautions, maybe one, but no cautions at all. So you can't even bank on that for help. So if you're Cyberonic or DK, you know, max out on practice time and do everything that you can do to get this car, to get your car dialed in and locked in. And you know, you always gotta hope for the best for some good luck at a short track, especially. But you know, if I'm one of these guys, you just gotta push and push and push, and just hope for the best and let the chips fall where they may, brother.
Absolutely, and someone like DK Brown, who obviously has lots of experience with custom setups, Cyberon relatively has known custom setups for a while. This is going to be a good battle. I mean, 8 points is definitely not a huge gap. One stage win or let's say Cybron gets 4 stage points and DK gets none. That's 4 points. That's 4 points right there that he gains there. So that's about we're gonna have to watch as these last couple of races head on. So while we're watching guys like JCR Clashing, Flash 9, Mike Bross, Slade Graver, just to name a few of those guys who have been fast all year long battling for these wins, we have another battle to watch, and it's definitely for those final playoff spots as 10 drivers will be racing for a championship in just a few weeks. Still waiting for the official command from the drivers to join the session, as a driver unfortunately lagged out at the start. Tends to happen on occasion with these private lobbies and everything. So the drivers are currently getting that all settled in. We'll get to the track here in just a moment here at Bristol. This is definitely one of those tracks, Shay, that we've had circled for quite a little while because of the excitement this track can bring. We've had a very, very a huge amount of no cautions, a lackluster of cautions. This could finally be the race where we finally see some cautions, maybe some different strategies, some intense restarts as the race goes on, especially with the playoffs on the line. If you're a driver like DK, Perky, Kill It like Jason, or someone below the cutoff like Brennanator or Inatown, you may see yourself maybe staying out, taking a chance to take 2 tires and get that track position. Because if you have a good car that's set up to where it just coasts up the top, gets to run on the bottom, you can play defense for a little bit. So this is going to be one of those races where if you're not watching right now, then you're doing something wrong, because I think this race is going to be fantastic. We're just waiting to get into the session.
Absolutely. And the one key factor that could be the make it or break it and can be a complete wild card is getting on and off of pit road. This pit road is, just very, very difficult trying to get on pit road. And, I talked to some of these guys earlier today, and I believe we can go ahead and join on in here now, Joey. I believe they're getting going here.
We are joining in now. Unfortunately, we did not get a message in the chat, at least from what I saw, for us to join. The green flag is now officially out here. Let's go ahead and get straight to the action.
And J-Well jumped out. I caught it on the stream, going back into the stream, so I'm glad I did. And J-Well has jumped out fired out like a rocket, took the early lead, starting on the outside. The 43 of Kill Like Jason started on the pole tonight. Clash and his teammate now in second. Slade on the top line. His top line looking really, really strong here in the early going. The top 3 so far have all taken that high line, and they are taking off. Next up is you see that 44 of Mike Ross in that 44 car. He's on the top line. He's going to follow suit right behind Slade. Look at this top line here, Joey. This is very interesting. This whole top line is moving like a freight train so far here in the early going.
Yeah, they're moving indeed, and that top line is going to be very, very important as the race goes on. That is what we call not only the fastest way around here, but the defensive way around here. You're going to see drivers duking it out on that top lane to get up there as fast as they can, especially later on into the run. JWoww leading right now with Clashing in second. Looking a little further on back, a good battle here for P number 3 between Mike Ross and Slade Graven. 2 drivers that have had a very clean season so far. Maybe not the most success. Slade Graven with his win at Watkins Glen, and Mike Ross winning at Pocono. Mike Ross holding on to that bottom. Slade Graven a little contact with on the wall, but Slade finally gives in, gives the spot to Mike Ross, and moving that 44 up to P number 3.
And that 44 of Mike Ross, he, like we said last week, Joey, finally broke through and got that W. He's been strong all season long. He's had kind of the knack that he was strong in the beginnings and always ended up falling off on the long runs. Last week he was able to overcome that. Here we see him again looking very, very strong here in the early going. So hopefully he can keep that momentum and maybe he can get the back-to-back and get 2 in a row. But I think those JCR boys have something to say about that. I was talking to JWoww earlier today, actually, here, Joey. I was talking to him this afternoon, and his confidence level is through the roof here at Bristol. And I mean through the roof. I said, so what are your thoughts on tonight's race, man? Tell me, man. Give me your thoughts. He said, plain and simple, I'm winning it all. And I think it looks like we might have a caution here, Joey.
And right there, we talked about him earlier, DK Brown. holding the 10th spot in the playoffs, involved in a caution. Heavy damage to that Brandt machine on the front. The whole front is caved in. Looks like Brennanator, Kill It Like Jason, and Intown all have minor damage, so a multi-car crash has happened here early on. And what do we talk about, Shady? We thought this race might be the one where those cautions finally start panning out. And oh, a little contact there between DK and Kill It Like Jason. A little possible drama here early on here. Short track tempers as the field comes down for pit stops here. Gonna go to the front of the field here and check out the 95 machine of JWoww and see what he'll be doing here under caution. Is it too early to take 4 tires? Do you take 2 or fuel? Let's see how long this pit stop is.
And this is actually surprising, and this is a question I asked several of the guys earlier this afternoon when I was talking to them and kind of getting their thoughts like I do every week. And I was talking to a lot of guys, and that was a question I actually asked, Joey. Here at Bristol, everybody knows tempers flare at Bristol, things happen at Bristol. It's short track Bristol, or it's short track racing, it's Bristol, baby. So I asked guys, I said, do you guys actually anticipate or maybe even expect some cautions finally coming out tonight? And most guys said no, not really. We expect more of the same. And I said, really? That's kind of interesting to me, because Bristol has that knack to where, like we were saying, it is very, very difficult to pass. So my question to a lot of these guys was, well, if you have a fast car, or some guys have a fast car and they're stuck behind somebody who's not as fast, being held up, and they're losing time and time and time and time and more time each lap, does frustration kind of build and kind of, get them moved out of the way, cause intention, and have maybe some retaliation? Most of the guys tonight didn't expect that. Most of them didn't think that could be an issue tonight. And here we see already in the early going here in stage 1, we might have that exact same scenario already kicking out, Joey. So you know what it's like. They call Bristol the last Coliseum for a reason, and I think we're gonna be in for one heck of a show tonight.
I thought for a second that you were going to call the green flag for a second there. All right, Slade Gravett with some strategy here that we talked about. Looks as though he took 2 tires, the rest of the field taking 4 as the field comes to the green flag here for the restart. Slade Gravett with a little bit of a checkup there, but the outside line gets a huge run as they start off. As the field heads into turn 1, out of turn number 2. Slade Gravett clear, but clashing in second. Battle for third between JWoww and Michael. Oh, contact there, putting Mike Bross into the wall. They stumble a little bit. Let's head back there and check this battle out. JWoww loose. Mike Bross clears the 95. Now JWoww nearly hits the 14 up into the wall. Side by side at Bristol, a very hard thing to accomplish, but yet a fun sight to see. And JWoww, just like that, as we head back here, take a look at Sharp here in the 25, at the calamity happening back here. It is very, very hard to pass at Bristol. You may think it's easy. You may think, oh, with all the momentum on the top, this is easy. We can easily pass. The problem is everybody wants to go to the top. It's very hard to pass someone, and especially on the early parts of the run. That inside works just as good as that inside. You can turn the car and rotate it just as good as you would on the outside. As you see JWoww fighting so hard. Sorry, that's DB fighting so hard to stay with Perky, but Perky's just gonna clear him and take over the 7th position, and now Sharp follows behind.
As you said, Joey, these guys, we see time and time again, these guys want to use that high line. But as we see here, as Flash 9 making a move under Slade.
Yep, Slade lost the lead.
As Flash goes underneath of him, JWoww's gonna hopefully follow in his footsteps if he can. It's kind of like opening a door, like at Daytona. If you're on the bottom, move up just a little bit and open the door. Everybody else is gonna follow right underneath you.
Absolutely, but honestly, the viewers back at home may be thinking right now is, oh, looks like as though that might be, I believe that is JWoww. I think JWoww there. Or might have been DB. We'll double check right there. Yes, that indeed was JWoww. Got loose off the corner from the leader. Now all the way back to about the 8th position. So it can change that quick. But going on back with the 21 did right there, okay? So some of the viewers at home maybe wonder, why are you taking... Oh, yeah, okay. So he is definitely struggling right now. But here's the good news for all the Slade Gravett fans back at home. He may be losing lots of track position right now with the strategy call he made, but it is good to get this out of the way now rather than finding out later on at the end of stage 2 or even stage 3 taking a chance. Now, if you're Slade Gravett, you got that in the back of your pocket. It's like, okay, the 2 tires or no tires, because we don't know ideally what he did, is not going to work. 4 tires is what you need to do all the way unless it is do or die situation. You can already tell by Slade right here, and let's go right on board with him here and see if we can pick up anything differently from what that car is doing compared to someone with 4 tires. Now, going to Slade Gravett here, go to his onboard camera, driving with the 21 of Slade Gravett. As you can see, he's just not able to get back on the gas like those other guys are. As his teammate Brennator, who's had a very quiet season, zips on through on the outside. Slade just holding on for dear life, thinking, man, I may have made a terrible mistake, is probably what Slade is saying right now, as he is getting freight train on the top. And just right there, you can tell right here, he just cannot get back on the gas when he wants to. That car wants to shoot up to the top as soon as he gets back on it. He has to be very, very patient with that car. And right now, he's paying the price for that strategy.
Yep, but like you said, man, he's got that in his pocket. It's a call that he made here in stage 1. He, you know, hey, sometimes you got to roll the dice a little bit. Find out what you can do and what you can't do, what you can get away with and what you can't. And that's okay. He's got plenty of time. Only in stage 1. Yeah, he'll fall back. He's not going to lose. He's going to lose a lot of positions. He'll be caught up in a lot of traffic, but still a long, long way to go. And everybody knows how good a driver Slade Gravett is. So, if there's anybody out here that can drive through the field, he's able to do it. So I don't think he's even worried about it one little bit. You know, hopefully we'll see him, you know, moving all the way back to the end of the line. Hopefully he can, you know, things can also change with these cars, Joey, here at Bristol. You know, I mean, these cars, the longer the run goes, I mean, it's common here at Bristol. The longer the run goes, the looser the car gets. So who knows? Maybe he's got it set up a little bit and trying something out to where it actually might come in the long run. We'll have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, how things change rapidly, and right off the bat, you see from JWoww to Clash and Lee, Mike Brasso lost 2 positions in only a matter of a lap or 2, so I wonder if Mike might have hit the wall a little bit. He's dropped from 2nd to 4th as Chase Williamson now up to P2. He's been a little quiet the past couple weeks. He finished 2nd in Michigan at Flash 9, hasn't really done anything since. I believe he was not at Pocono, and at New Hampshire, I believe he did win New Hampshire.
Yeah, he got those 2 wins back to back at New Hampshire and the week before. But yeah, you're right. Since then, he's kind of cooled off a little bit. He got hot there, had a little hot streak, kind of cooled off a little bit. But here he is running P2 and trying to track Clashing down. So who knows? We'll see if he gets hot. But right now, our points leader, JCR Clashing, at 51, he's having a heck of a run. I'm glad to see him. He's in the race. When I was talking to him earlier, with his work schedule, he was really unsure if he was going to make the race tonight. So I'm glad that he's able to make the race and stay in the race all the way. As he's leading the field here tonight, is exactly where he wants to be. I can surely tell you that.
Absolutely. Well, there's no better place than being the leader at any track on the circuit, but he may lose that lead here momentarily. It's your bro Chase Williamson, chasing down the 51. We're running on board the 14. We'll be here with him these next few laps to see if he can complete the pass. Chase Williamson not alone, or not, you know, pretty much knows what it's like to be leading a race. Definitely one of the fastest cars all season long. Has been able to race every single race of the season, but he has made enough races to whatnot. He will be in the playoffs with his 2 wins, so he is definitely going to be a championship favorite. But the JCR boys always do have something to say about that, including Mike Ross, Slade Gravett, just to name a few. You see Chase Williamson trying to arc that corner just a little bit more than the 51. He's trying to go right above that 3rd seam, get where that groove is, where all that rubber's been building up, and then arc it down right through the middle to try and get the run and complete that pass. So watching Chase Williamson here, as you see him just kind of following the 51. He's not really pushing it. I'm a little shocked. I would think he would try to go to the inside and try to make it happen, but I think what he's trying to do is just get those tires to a point where he's a little bit faster than Clashing, arc that corner, get there on the inside, and send it, then clearing him in the middle to where the 51 has to back up. That's probably the way he's going to try to pass him here.
Very likely. I mean, as far as passing here at Bristol, you know, the old saying goes, catching me is one thing, passing me is another. And you can certainly make your card really, really wide here at this track. Kind of seeing Clashin do that same thing, trying to make that 51 as wide as he possibly can. Kind of knows that as long as if he can keep that 14's nose from getting under that fender, he should be okay, and he'll pull off. But especially now, we're kind of getting deep into this run, so wonder if tire wear and tire factor is going to be a little bit of an issue. We look as I say that.
There he goes.
14.
Oh, but Clashin had to back off the throttle. He came down the track, tried to pinch the 14. Little contact there, sends the 51 up the track. But Clashin fights back on the top with all that momentum and retains the lead. And we talked about it, Shady. Very, very hard to pass here. This is going to be a battle we're going to have to watch the end. And Clashin gets loose. Given the Chase the outside, this could be his opportunity. This has to be the opportunity right here. If Chase wants to take that lead, he has to send it here in turn 3 as they make a little contact here.
Oh, look at him go to turn 3 and 4, side by side, down the front stretch. Chase Williamson gets him by nose, and here comes Clashin on the inside. Oh, Chase gets a little loose, but he gets that momentum off the turn 2 and takes the lead.
Chase Williamson now up to the lead as the laps wind down. 9 laps to go. When they head to the line, 9 laps to go in the stage. Chase in first, Clashin in second, with Flash 9 and Mike Bross not too far back in third and fourth. And then if you go back to fifth, that is JWoww in the 5th position.
Yep, absolutely. And as it's hard to even say that there's only just a handful of laps left. Seems like we just started. These guys are picking them up and laying them down at a pretty fast clip. This stage 1 has gone by pretty quick here, Joey.
Absolutely. Well, Bristol average lap time 15 to 16 seconds. So these laps are going to go by very, very fast. As they head to the line, it will be 6 laps to go this time around for Chase Williamson, who has climbed his way up to the front to possibly take the stage 1 win. Another playoff point for the 14 car. Possibly here, but never say never. Clashin hanging tight with that 14. We'll have to see what happens here as they head to the line. 5 laps to go.
And every point is going to matter, especially when we get into the playoff time, Joey. Every playoff point is going to matter. So you know these guys are going to be fighting and clawing and itching their way to get just even one single measly point, because that could mean the difference when it comes down to the wire.
Absolutely. Chase Williamson running that middle lane as he heads down the back straightaway. 2 turns 3 and 4 out of turn number 4 this time. 4 laps to go in stage number 1. Clashin still staying there with the 14. If the 14 does make a little bobble here, the 51 will be there to attack. He hasn't really let off too much here.
And that's kind of Clashin's strategy. He loves just using the strategy of kind of hanging back and just waiting for the guy in front to make a mistake, make him, you know, hopefully put a little pressure on him, allow him to slip and make a mistake and take advantage. You know, a guy like Chase Williamson, as talented and skilled as he is, not sure, you know, how many mistakes he would even make in a whole entire race, let alone a couple laps. But here, you know, I don't think Clashin's going to push it and make an accident happen and cost him. So he's there in P2. Plenty of points there, a couple playoff points at stake there, so I don't see him pushing the issue so early.
Absolutely, and with that, Chase Williamson wins stage 1. Clashin second, Flash 9 third, Mike Bross, last week's winner, in 4th, and JWoww finishing 5th in stage number 1. That is your top 5 for stage 1. Apologies for the typo in the top left corner. It's saying Pocono is race number 8. This is definitely not Pocono. If it was Pocono, we'd be having some problems. I would be having to contact Pocono and see what's going on. What kind of reconfiguration schemes are they up to right now? But we are at Bristol. It is Bristol, baby. Chase Williamson with the stage 1 win as we get ready for stage number 2. Now, here at the end of stage 1, the easiest strategy and the one everyone drivers should go with here is 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel. And if you're Slade Gravett, please put 4 tires on the car, because if he does not, this man's race will be completely over. Kind of shocked he didn't go a lap down. Slade Gravett back there, 3rd to last as they head to the green flag here for the start of stage number 2. Chase Williamson retains the lead from pit road, and we are green flag back racing here, stage number 2 at Bristol. Hefty battling right there between Chase and Flash 9 as Flash keeps the pressure on the 14. The Flash 9 up to second now after sitting about third, fourth there all of stage 1. Sharp now moves up to fourth with Mike Bross fighting to stay in that top 5 of Clashin.
Hey, coming out of that stage caution, that it was a little change of events there. That Flash 9 and the 5 came out in front of Clashin and started P2 on the outside front row. I think that definitely was not what Clashin wanted, as he's now dropped back to...
Oh, we got to spin! We got to spin! We got a spin in the back. It's going to be DB in the 95. He spins down the back straightaway. It looks as though he got loose and hit that apron. The 95 goes around. Tough break for him. It is a single car crash, though. So I believe there is no caution for the 95 of DB, who's had some rough luck these past couple of weeks as the field keeps on going.
Oh man, that's hateful to see, especially right at the beginning of the stage, as he's now already a half a lap back. So, but that's not over though. We still got another stage to go through. So even if he loses a lap here in this stage, he'll be able to get that back at the stage break. So anything can happen here at Bristol. We've already had one caution. Maybe we'll have a second one here coming up in the stage 2.
Little update on the drivers fighting for a playoff spot with just 2 races left. 6 drivers are locked in, but the 4 remaining spots are kept from DB, Kill It Like Jason, Perky, and DK Brown. Cybron, the 4 car, is the first car out of the playoffs. He is 8 points back of DK. At the moment, Cybron is 3 spots ahead of DK. No stage points given to either of these drivers yet. So, good day for the 4 cars so far. Hopefully he can keep this up. DK does have some fighting to do. He's back there around the 4th to last position. And then if you go a little bit further back, the last driver who is technically still eligible to make the playoffs is In It Town 18, who's had a very quiet season, probably not the season that he has wanted. He's sitting back here, taking his time, waiting to see how this race plays out. But we've seen Bristol before, Shady. Anything can happen. There could be a big wreck in stage 3. He gets a lot of track position. He can get out here in the top 5 maybe. We'll just have to see what happens. But a little update on your drivers as they are fighting for playoff spots.
Absolutely, as this field now is kind of spread out, settled down and settled in. Ooh, the 48, or I'm sorry, Sharp 8, the 25, got up into the wall there in P4. Mike Ross, he's going to look to take advantage of it. Not sure if he's going to be able to, but the 25, a Sharp 8, oh man, he gave that wall a nice little kiss.
No damage on the 25, at least on the right side, so possibly a lucky break for the 25 car for now, but he's got some company now. He's got the 44 and 51 on his tail, then the 4 of Cybron fighting for a playoff spot. He's sitting there as well. He wants a little piece of action in this thing.
And how about that finish from Cyberonic and Sharpay last week at Pocono? That they had a great finish. The best races of that they've had all year. Next to Mike Ross, we got a possible change. Look at this.
They're 2 by 2 back here. The 25, the 44, along with the 51 and 4. They are battling heavy for this position right here. But if we go a little bit further up to the front, battles continue as Flash 9 continues to put that pressure on Chase Williamson.
And this little battle right here has let those top 3 kind of scoot away just a little bit. But I don't think it'll take much for Clashin and Mike Ross to catch them down, running 4th and 5th respectively. But keeping my eye here on these leaders, Joey, as Flash and Chase, they are nose to tail, and I wonder how itchy Flash wants to be to try to get up there and get this lead, sitting second in points.
It's keeping the pressure on that 14's bumper. Flash 9 seems to have kept pressure on the 14 all season long. These two are friends away from the track. They work together, they practice together, And here they are 1-2. Always a great moment to be racing with a colleague of yours, a friend, as you go for wins and whatnot. So this is always really, really cool to see, but it might get a little antsy here as look who they're catching, the 95 of DB, who spun earlier on the backstretch, a single car crash. So lap traffic will play a factor here in stage 2. If you're Flash 9, do you take advantage of it? Do you find a way around it? Or do you just both get through the car and fight away from the lap traffic?
Kind of see how it goes when you get up to them and see how it goes and see, you know, sometimes can you make it to work to your advantage, or sometimes it might just be better be patient and just, you know, allow the 14 to go ahead and get around them. You know, if it was stage 3 and coming down to the end of the wire, yeah, maybe you might want to push the issue a little bit. Here in stage 2, running P2, if I'm Flash, I'll just kind of see what happens. Maybe they slip up. Maybe Chase Williamson makes a little bit of mistake that I can capitalize on. But definitely here, they've caught him now, so we're going to find out.
And the 95 gets out of the way. Oh, he almost wrecks the car, though. I actually think he might have wrecked. I think he might have hit the inside wall.
I think he did too, Joey.
Yeah, his whole front's killed. The whole front of the car is absolutely destroyed. Now DB, a lap down, has to hope that Chase Williamson does not catch any more cars in this stage so he can get his lap back for the final stage. But a tough break for a driver fighting for a playoff spot. This is the time where you have to put clean races together. DB could still lose a playoff spot depending on how tonight and next week goes.
Absolutely. He's sitting 7th in points right now. He does not have a win, so he's not locked in, you know, so this could definitely hurt him in the point standings, but now he wants to play in, you know, in salvage mode here a little bit. Salvage the best finish that he can, salvage as many points as he can, and get out of this track and look towards next week and just do the best he can, try to get the best finish he can. But he's definitely has his hands full of that 95 car with that damage. He's just holding on for dear life right now, and that's heartbreaking to see for a guy like DB, who's had a really, really great year in 7th in points, like I said. Never want to see that with anybody, and seeing him have a rough night tonight, we've all been there here at Bristol, Joey.
Absolutely, and we're going to keep an eye on that 95 because he seems to be getting very loose off the corners with all that damage. Definitely a track where damage can change the handling of your car, especially with how dynamic these corners are, with the banking, the straightaways and whatnot. As you see Perky, one of the drivers fighting for a playoff spot. He owns the 9th spot at the moment, so definitely no wiggle room for safety reasons. He needs to push it. He needs to do everything he can to stay in front, do his thing, and get every point that matters. And Kill It Like Jason as well, holding that 8th spot in the playoffs. He's sitting right in front of him.
And as we were talking about those guys, some other points in playoff picture ramifications back up towards the front. Notice that JCR Claxton did get in front of Mike Ross for that 4th position. So there's Claxton trying to just do everything that he can to stay as that points leader. He came in with a little bit of a comfortable place. I mean, he's got 13 points over Flash 9 coming into this race tonight. But you know how it is, Joey. Just one little thing, as we saw with DB, just one little thing, man, and it could change everything upside down real quick.
And speaking of things changing real quick, we have a new leader. It's the 5 machine, a Flash 9, as he takes the lead away from Chase Williamson. We saw him putting the pressure on him earlier, and the 5 finally completes the pass as he tries to sail away and maybe get a stage 2 win.
And we were talking about that just a little while ago, Joey, with Flash 9 coming in 2nd in points, trying to take advantage of it. And you know he's got somebody in his ear, or
whoa!
Caution.
Caution out, and it's going to be for the 7 of DK Brown, a driver trying to make the playoffs as he has heavy damage to the front of his 7 Brandt machine. So a caution has come out. This changes everything as we are just around 20 laps to go in stage number 2.
And did DB ever get gonna get the benefit of that? But, I mean, talk about heartbreaking for DK. This is his 2nd incident of the night. he brought out the, I believe it was, he got an incident in the first stage that brought out our first caution, and here he is again with a lot of damage to that number 7 Chevrolet. Man, and talk about a playoff spot. He's just sitting there in 10th, holding that last playoff spot down, man. So things could get real interesting as far as playoff ramifications.
Absolutely, and speaking of playoff ramifications, the 95 of DB is your lucky dog. He gets his lap back, so he will be back on the lead lap before the end of stage number 2. Pit stops happening right now here under caution as Flash 9 leads the field down. Chase Williamson heads into his pit box, first pit box of on the track, so he should have the advantage when it comes to these pit stops. 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel for these drivers. Let's see who gets out of pit road first. Flash 9 out of his box, so alongside him, JWoww, then clashing. Chase Williamson beats Flash off of pit road, and the 14 will take the lead back for this restart.
And this restart's going to be hot and heavy, I think, Joey. Being here in stage 2, let me see if we can get a lap count and see how far deep we're in. You know, because these guys, like we were saying, man, every position, every point matters. So we try to take advantage of it. And you just say cautions, precautions, especially with guys really starting to go for it and trying to max out as far as getting, you know, setting themselves up for stage 3 and being in the best position possible. You know, track position we got was at 20 lap shows. You know, track position is such key here, Joey. I mean, you've been here so many times yourself, man. You've raced here time and time again. You know how track position is, and that track position is just so imperative here at a track like Bristol.
Absolutely, as the field heads to the restart. Green flag back out here at Bristol. Less than 20 laps to go in stage number 2 as Chase Williamson leads the field through turns 1 and 2. Chase leading as Flash 9 sits in second. Little contact here between the 51 and the 95 as drivers are fighting for every single position. Slade Graven, after his strategy call that did not work out for him, he's fought his way back up to 6. Mike Brosson 5th. JWoww in 4th with clashing his teammate in P number 3. If you look a little further back, Sharp and Kill It Like Jason fighting for position as the 25 makes a little contact with the wall. Everyone fighting for every single position they can to get any point before the end of the stage.
And they are fighting and they are clawing. The claws and the claws coming out, the gloves coming off, starting maybe as these guys are really starting to try to get a go time here. We're under 20 laps to go at Bristol, so or here in stage 2 at Bristol. So it's kind of go time, and you're going to max out on stage points. Now's the time to get up and go.
It is go time indeed, and Flash 9 knows it, putting the pressure on the 14. He took the lead once. He wants to take it again. Laps winding down, battling behind as well as the 95 and 51 of the JCR teammates. Leave right now at the moment. Sitting
14 to
at
go,
14 to go. Now 13 at the line. 13 to go in stage number 2. This is the battle we're going to be watching here. Flash 9 took the lead away from Chase on the green flag run before. Now that means Flash may have a better car than Chase on the long run. So this is what we're going to have to watch for. How long does it take for the 5's car? And unfortunately, and wow, okay, my internet just randomly shot out for a second.
And that's okay, as we are coming down to about 10 laps to go. We'll get Joey back, having a little bit of technical difficulties, and have 10 laps to go here at the line as Chase Williamson at the line with 10 laps to go. Flash 9 right on his tail. Flashing now in 3rd, JWoww in 4th, Mike Ross in 5th. Coming to the end here, Chase Williamson doing everything he can to keep Flash 9 at bay. It's your bro Chase. Your leader. Coming to the end of stage 2, Chase Williamson breaks free now of Flash 9. JCR Clashing now starting to reel in that 5 car of Flash 9 as we're winding down here. Under 5 laps to go in stage 2. Chase Williamson a little bit now on cruise control to get this stage win.
And right now, Chase Williamson through the middle of 3 and 4 looking for the stage 2 win as he heads down the back straightaway through 3 and 4. Out of turn number 4. This will be the white flag for stage number 2 as Chase Williamson looking to secure the bag for a stage win and another playoff point. Through 3 and 4. And Chase Williamson is going to do it and win stage number 2. Apologies for that technical issue there. For some reason, it said I had no internet, but I did. Kind of a weird thing. Never happened before. A first time for sure. Shout out to the chat and Shady for keeping the stream alive there until I fixed that issue. Thankfully, a quick fix there. We are back stronger for stage number 3 as Chase Williamson is going to win stage number 2.
Now we're going to see the gloves really come off, Joey. We are heading into stage 3. So now it is, you know, if you got it, you better show it, because whatever you got, you're going to have to lay it out on the line as we're going to go in stage 3. So it's going to be, well, I think we're going to be set up for a good show, man. I mean, we're going to see what these guys have now, for real.
Absolutely. It is time to go. Stage number 3. And look who takes the lead. It's JWoww in the 95 car. JWoww. Oh, but he peels off. It looks as though he may have messed up on his pit stop. JWoww way off the pace. And he gives all that track position away. Looks as though he may have messed up on his pit road options. He probably took no tires, no fuel. Something happened with that 95 car, and unless a caution comes out here in the next few laps or so, or just in general before the green flag pit stops, if they do occur, his race is more than likely over.
And that's heartbreaking for him. As I was kind of saying earlier, when he came into the race, man, he had, kind of starting on the outside pole tonight, he had such high confidence. I asked him, I said, what are your thoughts on tonight? He said, I'm winning it all. I'm winning all the stages. I'm winning the race. I won the pole. I'm winning everything. So that's just absolutely heartbreaking to see. If that it looks like he did run out of time there on his options, and that's brutal, man. That's killer. Absolutely killer here in stage 3.
Speaking of killer, look at this battle back here. These guys have been slicing and dicing. Perky gets loose, saves the car. He'll lose track position, but what a save by Perky. That could have ruined his entire race. The 88 keeps it straight and saves it. He keeps on going. Whew, that was a close one for Perky, who was trying to keep one of those playoff positions.
And just one little slip up, man. One little slip up. As tight as this field has been, as tight as the points are, as tight as the competition is, that just one little tiny slip up can cost you a race. It can cost you a playoff spot. It can cost you everything. That's how competitive, that's how tight it is. As JCR Clashing now, he's in 3rd spot. He's looking to try to get around that Flash 9 for P2, Joey. Look at it.
Clashing looking to possibly take the 2nd position away from Flash 9. And again, Flash 9 Clashing, 2 drivers that have been arguably 2 of the most consistent drivers all season long. So no shock to see them up here. Mike Ross a little further back and forth. Slade Graven has fought his way up to 5th after a botched strategy call early on in stage number 1. Just goes to show you how long it takes to gain track position here at Bristol. You may think with the short track it's very easy to stay with the field. It is not. little room for error at a place like this. And just right behind him, once again, just showing what he can do. Check out Sharp in that 25 car. New driver to the series. Finished second last week. A career best finish for the rookie as he finished behind Mike Ross, a Pro League talent driver. So nothing for him to low his head on whatsoever. And right here, trying to get into the top 5.
Yeah, man, and especially after last week and having that excellent finish in the top 3 last week, you know, and getting that momentum, you know, it does everything for you. Just a little bit of momentum can take you a long way. Great to see him have that kind of a run, unless he's battling Slade Graven here, and Slade Graven, man, look, the mistake that he made earlier, and to see him fight, getting his way up there, awesome to see that, man. I know that was a little bit of an error, you know, an error on the strategy part of it, but here he is, Edge
Latching loose off of turn number 4, but he saves it, and he's doing everything he can to retain that position of second, but it will not matter. Flash 9 now up to second with Mike Ross hot on his bumper.
And Chase Williamson is loving every second of this, because as these guys are battling for this second spot, Chase Williamson is able to take off a little bit and put some space in, as Clashin now doing everything he can to get under that Flash 9 in that 5 car.
What a battle by the 51, and he's going to take the spot back.
Oh.
Sends it on the bottom. Flash 9, a little contact with the wall. Not sure how the 5's going to feel about that move, but Clashin takes the second spot back with an aggressive move to the bottom. That's what you got to do to pass here sometimes. It's go time, and the 51 knows it.
Absolutely, and that's Bristol, baby. I mean, we were talking about this earlier in the pre-race and at the start of the race, Joey, that passing here is so difficult, so very difficult. You know, I was talking to Flash earlier today, and he was saying the same thing, that it's going to be a quick race, and passing is so difficult. But his main point that he made, and now we're in stage 3.
Oh, we got contact! Oh my goodness gracious. Sorry to interrupt you there. Kill it like Jason loose off the corner. Makes huge contact with the 7 of DK Brown, who has already been involved in 2 cautions. DK with a massive save. It looked as though that 7 was going to go head on into the inside safer barrier, but he keeps it straight after a little contact with the wall. My goodness gracious. I thought that was going to be a caution right there.
Ooh, it very well could have been, man. It very well could have been. And no worries. Hey, we always want to bring the action to our viewers, brother, so no worries there, my man.
And at the moment, just a quick update on JWoww. It was a botched issue on the pit stop. The 95 has come down pit road. He's 2 laps down at the moment. Now, the question remains, can he make it on fuel from that pit stop? So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here, what the fuel cycle is. From my calculations and from what I know, I don't think he can make it on gas. So he is going to have to catch a lucky break. He's going to need a caution when the leaders pit. So he's going to want to, with the leaders pit, cycle around, get those 2 laps back, and then hope for a caution. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough road for that 95 car.
Yeah, man, he's going to need a lot of help. He's going to need some luck. He's going to need some help. You know, we'll have to see how it rides out for him, but a huge misstep on that pit cycle there. But we'll have to see how that unfolds. You know, I mean, as competitive as JWoww is one if not the most competitive people I have ever met in this online Heat 5 community, which I absolutely admire about it, because I'm competitiveness. The competition is what kind of drives me, and that competitive fire that he has, it's inspiring to me, man. I absolutely love it. I absolutely admire it. But at the same time, as competitive as one can be, you know, sometimes it can lead to some frustration, just because I'm kind of the same way in the competitiveness, that, you know, something like that happens, real easy to get frustrated. But he's no rookie. He's so experienced. He knows how to calm himself down, maintain his focus, keep his wits about him, and just lay it out on the line and let the cards fall where they may.
Absolutely, definitely a driver that knows what he's doing. As we cycle through the field, Mike Ross sitting in the 3rd position. Another solid run for the 44 car. Well, we've been talking a lot during this race, so let's go ahead and crank it up and let's see what these cars sound like around Bristol as we take a quick little break. We are back here at Bristol. A little commentator break there to get some water in our system as the cars rip around here. A little bit of a developing story and possibly a big developing story just to get confirmation. And it looks as though the 7 of DK Brown is out of the race. The 7 of DK Brown, who holds the 10th and final playoff spot, is out of the race. And if you are a fan of Galaxy King, aka Siren Bionic, you are jumping up for joy right now. The 4 car with a big golden opportunity in front of him to possibly take that 10th spot away.
Absolutely, Joey. When they came into this race, Cyberonic was only 8 points out of that 10th and final spot for DK. So one man's heartbreak and one man's bad race is another man's good luck and another one's wonderful heart and happiness, as we're gonna really see how this shakes out. But yeah, man, if you're Cyberonic and you're in that 4 car now, you really want to push it so you can capitalize as much as you possibly can on that issue, as the 7 car has taken it in for the night.
And again, a tough break for DK Brown, who has had some very solid runs the last few weeks, but today the luck runs out and he DNFs from the race. He will finish last place here at Bristol. A tough break for the number 7 machine, looking to clinch that final playoff spot. It will not happen this week, and that makes next week, the final race before the playoffs, even more interesting. You aren't going to want to miss that. We broadcast VRL/Pocono Raceway Cup Series every Wednesday on this YouTube channel from around the 8 to 8:05 Eastern time here. So be sure to tune in next week for the regular season finale, as the drivers look to get as much as they can before the playoffs start.
And we'll be headed to my most favorite track in all the land, good old Talladega. Man, we're going to be, we should expect to see a heck of a show there, especially with the last playoff spots on the line at Talladega. You know there how that is. Most of these guys hate Talladega and don't care for it much. Me, myself, my most favorite track. I love it. Excited to see the race already for next week and see how the playoff format is going to shape up.
Absolutely. Well, Talladega always delivers drama, excitement, and surprises around every single corner. We could see a first-time winner next week in the town, Brennan Air, just to name a couple of those guys who are looking for a shot into the playoffs. That could be their opportunity to make it. So maybe this is a chance for Slate Graver to push his teammate to a win. Maybe Innertown shocks the entire league and takes a win and takes a playoff spot. We're only time will tell as the laps wind down here from Bristol. Next week, Talladega for the regular season finale. Do not miss it at 8 o'clock Eastern right here on the YouTube channel. And as Chase Williamson flies around this field, He is lapping cars. Right now, he passed the 18 of Intown. One of those drivers we talked about looking to possibly clinch a spot or at least earn a spot. But now the 14 is catching the 95 of DB, who's had a little bit of a rough race. And just a little bit further ahead, that man Perky, who had a great run last week, his first stage win of the season, along with a top 5 finish for the race. He's having a little bit of a tough going this time around. But again, as the laps wind down, we still have time in this race for anything to happen.
Hey, anything can happen on any given lap. As Chase Williamson now, as he's putting lap cars up or putting lap cars down at a pretty quick pace. Looks like he's got a full straightaway on Clash, and he's impeached.
Oh my goodness gracious, DB. DB gets loose off the corner, nearly hits the inside wall, and almost pretty much ended his race right there. Chase probably had a little bit of a heart attack right there. But all is well. Chase continues on as he now tries to catch the 88 and put him a lap down.
And Chase Williamson, he may have had a pucker up section there, man, because that could have been absolutely devastating. And I mean, D-Day, man, you gotta give a hats off to him, man. You gotta give credit and a round of applause to him as he has fought that car all night long. And you know, it's really easy to kind of call it and take it into the garage, especially in a playoff inducing race like this, where there's so much on the line, man. You know, and here at Bristol, you don't want to be a factor in any way, shape, or form. You don't want to be a factor of having, you know, if you're already running bad, you're already having a rough car, and it's having just a not your day type of race. You know, it's real easy to kind of call it. You know, especially you're not going to want to, you know, oh, as you see him get loose here, you know, that you don't want to be a factor in any way, shape, or form. But to see him just muscle it out, absolutely admirable, and hats off to him. Round of applause.
Absolutely, and round of applause to Slade Raven. If we had a comeback award of the race, it probably had to go to this 21 car after and it turned to the wall. 18 in the wall hard. Slade Graven gets loose, flash 9, right back to the bumper. Almost a multi-car crash. How in the world did Slade Graven avoid that? Intown super loose, pounds the wall out of turn number 2. It checks up the entire back half of the field here, and now Slade Graven, with a little damage on the right front, now has a challenge from Flash 9, Sharp, and the lap down machine of JWoww.
Just as you said, man, as Slade Graven would be definitely the candidate for the make it up reward and the comeback reward for tonight, man. As he's got his mirror full really big right now. That black number 5 bearing down on him now. Things really starting to heat up at this part of the field.
And we talked about how one little thing can change your race. Slade Graven had no damage on the car, and you can see a little wrinkle on that right front. There might be a little damage on that 21. He was pulling away from Flash 9. Flash 9 was up there in 3rd place. Flash has dropped all the way back now to about the 5th, 6th position. And now he's able to keep up with Slade, so the 21 might have some damage. Pit stop starting to cycle out here as the leader is looking to make those final adjustments on their cars. As right now, the 16 of Brennanator, quiet all race long, possibly his final pit stop of the day. He should make it on fuel here. So every driver who pits from this point on will make it on fuel. As Brennanator leaves his pit box, looking to possibly find his way to earning one of those final playoff spots as he sits 12th outside the cutoff.
And if we stay green and we get this round of green flag stops, then it's Flash 9 as hitting up. They're gonna start right now. Here they come now, Joey, down pit road.
Mike Bross and Slade Graven as they head down pit road for their final stops here. Got to make sure there is no speeding, no mess ups here, as it is now crunch time for these guys to get those good adjustments in and a quick clean stop. We'll follow along with Slade Graven and Mike Bross here and see what their pit stops look like here. Slade Graven and Mike Bross identically nearly in the same pit box. Mike should leave in front of Slade. He had a good little gap to the 21 car. And definitely looks like a 4-tire, 2 cans of fuel. Mike Bross leaves. Slade Graven right behind him.
Yep. 2 cans, 4 freshies, down and gone. Good clean entrance, good clean exit. That's what you definitely got to have. And that's the one thing that Flash was said when I was talking to Flash earlier this afternoon. And the green flag stop here in this 3rd stage can make it or break it for a lot of guys and be the real key. Because as he said, and Clashton said also, that getting on pit road here at Bristol is very difficult. Very difficult trying to get on pit road because of how that banking is so steep in the transition from going to the banking to that flat apron. It throws the car off and can spin you out really quick. Not to mention when you're hauling butt around this track as fast as you can go and you got to get that thing slowed down to 35 miles an hour. Not an easy task, Joey. Not so easy.
Not easy whatsoever. Chase Williamson puts the 18 another lap down, killing like Jason down for his lap stop. A little bit of a quiet race for the 43, but I'm curious to see when the 14 and the others pit. Mike Ross and Slade Graven have already made their final stops. They weren't necessarily too far back. I mean, they were a little further back of Chase, probably about 4 seconds, maybe 5. But I'm curious to see how much time will they gain on the 14 here, as the 14 keeps on going and has not pitted yet.
Now's where strategies are really going to come into play as far as when to pit, and that was the main thing that Flash was saying, is pitting at the right time for this green flag pit stop. And I mean I don't know how these guys determine it or on what's the best way. I mean I'm nowhere near that good like these guys are, man. So but these guys, they sit down and they strategize it, and they have a plan coming into this race. But yeah, this pit stop is going to play a major role on the way that the end of this race turns out. Granted that there's no cautions between now and then, but this pit stop right here is going to be crucial to determining how this race finishes.
Let's see how quick Mike is catching. 14 Chase just crossed the line. Mike Ross out of turn 4 right now. Let's see what happens here. Mike crosses the line. Let's see if we can kind of tell a major difference here as to when Mike Ross catching the leader. Chase just crossed the line, and Mike just crossed the line. So I mean, they're catching him. They are catching Chase Williamson at a very fast pace right now. I mean, they've been out there for at least 30, 40, 50 laps on these tires. So Mike and Slade Graven are definitely the 2 fastest cars on the field right now when it comes to lead lap cars that have a chance to win at the moment. But look at Perky, who I believe is already, I think he is already a lap down, or at least another lap down. He's side by side with Slade Graven. I do not think that is for position. Slade Graven's just gonna think quick here, give the 88 that position, use his draft possibly, get some ground up.
Yeah, man, we haven't talked too much of that man Perky that much all race long. He's the guy that's comes out as the leader's coming down pit road now. Here comes Chase down pit road now.
Now, I want to check this because I already saw the 14 down on the pit road lane. So I'm curious, and we'll have to go double check this. Did Chase Williamson pit in the wrong pit lane and then having to go to the actual one he had to go in? I'm curious because I wonder if everyone back at home saw what I saw, because I really want to see how this shakes up now. Maybe it's just me, wondering, or just, maybe I'm just like not really thinking about it as well. But hey, look at that. Mike Ross is in front of Chase Williamson. Mike Ross. If this all cycles out, I think Mike Ross is leading this race.
Do you think that might have happened? I wasn't. I was going through the field a little bit and, kind of taking a look around and seeing how everybody was doing. So I didn't know, or didn't have a visual on that 14 of Chase Williamson. But if that did happen, man, that could be catastrophic to his race, brother.
At the moment, the 44 is your leader. Mike Ross leading here at Bristol. We'll have to see how this develops as the 44 Mike Ross pits early, gets the clean tires, takes the lead away. Chase is definitely catching him, but I'm curious, though, because we may have an implication here, and again, we may be incorrect about this, so I do apologize if that is the case, but it just looked as though Chase was already below the track well before the pit road entrance, as if he came off that first lane of pit road. So we'll have to double check this.
That could have been strategy too, especially as we were talking about how difficult it is to get on pit road here at Bristol. You know, the visuals is really tough because that yellow line just comes right up on you. It's almost right there in the middle of the turn. So that yellow line comes up really, really early on you. So you gotta be down on that apron and slowed down enough to get into that pit road. So it might have just been a strategy move of making sure and playing it on the safe side. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on
verify. Yeah, we do have it confirmed that Chase Williamson is your leader again. So it just looked as though he may have went down the wrong pit lane at first, but probably just was taking it easy. But Chase Williamson now back up front. Mike Brosseau sitting in P2.
Okay, so there you go. So you know, now the race really is going to be getting, as Clashin now just got past Flash 9. Clashin right now, he is on his horse to try to run down Mike Bross, who's got about almost a full straightaway on him now. So now we're going to see how things really, really play out as far as if we go green all the way. You know, do lap cars play a factor? Does somebody end up getting loose off of turn 2 or 4? Who knows? We're going to find out, but I think we're going to be set up for one heck of an ending the way that this race has gone.
Absolutely, and we say never at a track like this. We've seen cautions in the stages. Yes, actual manual cautions, guys. We have seen them today. So the field does know how to crash the cars. It has happened a couple times tonight. So this race is definitely far from over. And we talked about how Mike Bross right now is sitting in the second position. Well, Clashin is catching Slade Graven and Mike Bross at a very, very fast pace here. We'll get double confirmation here to see exactly what's going on. Right now, Chase Williamson chasing down JWoww, who sits in the 10th position, who is now back on the lead lap. But we mentioned how he needed a caution to keep his race alive. It's looking as though right now it will not happen. So JWoww more than likely going a lap down here with 30 laps to go in the race.
And that earlier mix-up with JWoww in between stage 2 and 3 on the clock running out and not getting down pit lane was just, that did end up still as of now just being catastrophic, as he's just now coming back down pit road to top off the fuel and make sure he has enough fuel to get him to the end. He's gonna put on 4 tires just so he can try to make up as much time and get as many positions as he can and try to salvage as many points as he can, as he came into the race third in points tonight. So he's going to definitely take a heavy hit here. But back on the track, taking a look at Chase Williamson, who right now, man, he looks like he is just on cruise control out on that track so far right now.
Yeah, the 14 just looks like he knows what he's doing. That's Chase Williamson.
We got about 25 laps to go now?
Yeah, we're just getting double clarification right now. The leaders are working on lap 227 of 250 at the moment. 227 out of 250. So we're pretty close to 20 laps to go in the race.
Yeah, man, these guys have, just like usual, they pick them up and lay them down, as this race is now kind of starting to really, really wind down. And Chase Williamson, barring something happening, barring something big happening, he should walk home away with this one. Another, this is setting things up for a excellent race next week at Dega for the regular season finale, Joey. Next week, I'm already looking forward to, I wish they were able to race it tomorrow, because to find out who's in, who's not in, who's going to make it and have a shot at that championship, all going to be determined next week at Talladega, my man.
Absolutely. What better way to finish the regular season than with drama, chaos, and excitement? Talladega next week here at 8 o'clock Eastern for the regular season finale. See who clinches a spot into the playoffs and who will be racing for the Pocono Raceway Cup Series Championship. It's been a great season so far, and Chase Williamson looks to add on to that resume of a great season, looking for his third win, as he is right now on cruise control with none of the leaders in sight. A little update on Mike Ross and Slade Graven after their early pit call strategy. They are now sitting 4th and 5th, but some battling going on. Flash 9th, now battling Slade Graven. He looks to take those spots away.
These guys are bunched up here with Mike Ross and Slade Graven, Flash 9. Looks like DB's up in there. They've got a nice little hornet's nest here. This could play a factor into things here. The Brennanator up in there as well. As Slade got up in there into the wall. These guys are running in a little bit of a pack here, so these guys they still fighting it out here with less than 20 laps to go.
And that's what happens when you pit early, especially on a track like this. It's great at the beginning, but later on, the tires start to wear off. It's very hard to keep those positions. Mike Ross playing defense up there against Flash 9. Slade Graven playing defense as well with that little minor damage on the right front. Again, a solid run for these two. And Flash 9, been very consistent all season long. You have Sharp just a little further back. I believe he pitted around the same time as Flash 9 and Clash, and so let's see if Sharp can maybe get a top 5 out of here. There's Clashin, who sits now P2 with Chase Williamson nowhere in sight. That 14 is absolutely on rails right now, just flying. Little contact between Flash 9 and Mike Ross in turn 4. My goodness gracious. Mike Ross does not want to let go of that spot. It may get a little antsy here, ladies and gentlemen. This thing is not over yet.
Well, absolutely nothing. There's Slade Graven. He's got something to say about this as well, as he's moved up right on Flash 9's bumper. Mike Ross able to finally clear him, but here goes Flash back up underneath of Mike Ross. He's going to go side by side. Who does Slade go with? Does he stay at top or he goes below?
Tough decision right here. All about defense, and Mike Ross knows it. He may be on older tires, but he knows how to drive that car. He's doing everything he can to hold on to that position because every point matters, even if you're locked in or looking for your way in. This is a good battle right here. JWoww may be a couple laps down, but he has fresh tires. Does he get involved in this? Does he let it settle out? As Flash 9 looks to maybe do something. Flash gets loose. That inside gets very loose on the long run, and Mike Ross knows it. He's pinching the 5 as much as he can to hold on to that position. Flash on the inside, looking to maybe send it in. Nothing there. Slade Graven, little contact with the wall, but trying to pull a crossover on the 5.
And they are pushing now, man. They are pushing now. Slade right there. He's doing everything he can. That number 95 at JWoww, he's not going to be a factor into this. He's not going to be an issue. He's just sitting there riding, let these guys work it out between themselves. So it's going to be these 3 guys, Mike Ross, Flash 9, and Slade. As Slade gets up into the wall again for these positions, who's going to get where with these 3 guys fighting it out here for second, third, and fourth? Who wants to get the last podium spot?
I can tell you right now, it's either Flash or Mike that want it the most, because these two are having one heck of a battle here for us here on the broadcast. Mike pinching the 5, a little contact there. And man, Mike Ross, man, he just knows how to use that car up to its ability with great defensive moves on old tires. That is not easy to do, and he's doing a fine job right now. But Flash is not giving up as the laps wind down.
And as the laps wind down, you know, we're going to see, does frustration kind of take its toll over a little bit? Flash 9 trying to do everything he can and maintain points. He knows Clashin is there in second, trying to get as many points as he can so he can try to make a run for that regular season championship if he can, but he's got to get around Mike Ross. Does he get around him or does he move him? We're about to find out.
As we're about to find that out. We've already knew this for a little bit unless a caution came out, but Chase Williamson, the laps are winding down for the 14. Chase Williamson has put on a clinic in this final stage.
Oh, the Flash 9 in the inside. He's down on the apron.
Trouble for Flash 9. He spins. And that's going to ruin his race. And Chase Williamson wins here at Bristol. After possibly some drama between Flash 9 and Mike Ross, we knew they were battling hard right there. But the 14 of Chase Williamson wins.
Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness, we may have some drama here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. We were trying to go. We were trying to go back and forth right there. I went to go see what was going on. I missed the very end of it, unfortunately. But according to one of our broadcasts here that we're tuning into, there may be some drama here, and we're gonna have to get to the bottom of it here in the post race. But Chase Williamson wins a dramatic race here at Bristol, his third win of the season, and he did it without any sweat whatsoever.
Oh, he cruised to a victory. I didn't see exactly what happened to Flash. All I know is he came off that corner and slid down, and I'm not sure if there was contact, he got loose, or what happened. I don't know. But Flash 9, all of a sudden, he slung down to the apron and ended up finishing 8th, one lap down behind the 4 of Cyberonic. Chase Williamson, your winner. Second is Flash and Slade. Third, Sharpay in 4th. Mike Ross 5th. Kill It Like Jason 6th. Cyberonic 7th. Flash 9 and 8th. Brendan 9th. And Man Perky 10th. Your top 10, Joey.
And we're kind of looking back at it here. Unfortunately, we cannot see it on our screen here. But, oh, yep. So it looks as what happened here was Mike Ross was on the outside doing what he usually do. It looks like there was no intentional contact or anything. It looked as though Flash 9 was trying to use that middle lane, trying to stay with the 44. It looked as though the 44 may have just gotten a tick loose out of 4. And unfortunately, the 5's right front was just on the quarter panel, sending the 5 down. The 5 countered it, saved it, but spun out, ultimately ending his good run. But that's not where it ends there, though, guys, because after that, Mike Ross was sitting in 3rd. Slade Gravett was sitting in 4th. And Slade Gravett passed Mike Ross for 3rd, I think. Unless I'm wrong here. But I think the 21. Oh, goodness. Slade Gravett used that wall a little bit, got a run off the corner, past Mike Ross, and then Mike Ross and JWoww made lots of contact out of 4. So that was crazy. We might have to get to the bottom of it right there, but I believe your podium is Chase Williamson, Clashing, and Slade Gravett is your podium. And let's go ahead and get to those interviews here as we get the cars loaded up. We're letting Chase Williamson celebrate here for just a quick moment as we get that paint scheme rocking and rolling to show the 3-time winner this season. And here he is, Chase Williamson. Chase, you have a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up?
Chase, well, definitely not a sight that I'm shocked to see. You're back in victory lane for your 3rd win of the season. You seemed a little quiet there in stage 1, but right as around stage 2, stage 3 happened, that 14 really came out to play. Tell us how your race went and what was your mindset there in stage 2 and 3 to get the job done?
Race was odd. I mean, I don't even know where I started. I think 7th or 8th, from around there, and just trying to get to the front. It's hard to pass at Bristol. It's really tight up off the bottom. I knew I had a pretty good car, but I didn't know how good it was because I didn't practice none all week. Got on today and practiced a little bit, and so I knew it was gonna be hard. I was really tight, kind of center off up off the bottom, but I was good on the top because I could hook that seam and it would turn me like about perfect where I needed to be every lap. And kind of just wrote, then kind of the caution come out in stage 1, and I don't even know where I could restart. And got up to 2nd, and then I restarted 3rd or something like that. Got behind Mike, and Mike messed up and he let me go. Then I just chased it down to 51, and I think he messed up 2, and I ended up getting around on the outside for the win. Stage 2, I was really worried. 5 was right there on me. I mean, Flash couldn't put a piece of paper between my car and the corners, mine and his on the straightaways, and he was right there, and I was just trying to make sure I was hitting my marks every lap, so I didn't mess up like the 2 in front of me did. That's the way I passed them, just make sure I hit my marks, be clean. And I knew if I did that, it was gonna be hard for him to pass me. And then stage 3, I just made a little couple changes on it because I knew that I wasn't as good as what I needed to be to 5. I felt like 5 was a tick better than me. And then those changes paid off, and it was absolutely rocket ship in that last stage.
Absolutely, that 14 was flying. Last question I got to ask you before I'll let you go celebrate. How badly did your heart jump when the 18 wrecked in front of you?
I really didn't see him wreck, so I don't.
Okay, on our screen, the 18 like wrecked right in front of you. He hit the wall like super hard out of 2. It was right in front of you when you were trying to put him a lap down. So I just wanted to ask you if you saw that or if you were even thinking about that or what your heart was telling you there. But hey, a clean race for the 14. You avoided the calamity that happened behind you and got your 3rd win, Chase, as you head to Talladega. I know you like your plate racing. How do you feel about Talladega coming up?
I feel good. Anybody can win. Anybody's got a shot, but I know that 14 will be fast. It's always fast around Talladega and Daytona, especially if I can get hooked up with that 5. Especially me and him's really good together on plate tracks. I miss my best friend on plate track, Jason. Me and him. I don't know. He was like glue. He could always. I don't know. We just always work together. We were good and all, but I felt good. But I noticed it's kind of random or whatever. Like nobody really like about doing heat 5 or whatever, but that setup I just had, if I'm gonna post it on Twitter if anybody's wanting to look at it or have it or whatever.
Great stuff from Chase Williamson. For anyone watching out there, giving a setup for anyone who looking to get into the custom setup game. But that 14 is definitely fast at plate tracks. But I will say a certain 8 car almost did beat it in the Winter Heat Series from a year ago. If we remember that one, that was definitely a fun battle to the finish line there for a championship too. So I have to get you back one day for that one. I have to beat you one day at a plate track for that one. But Chase, good job on your win, man. 3rd win of the season. We'll see you at Talladega. Go enjoy it.
See y'all guys. Thank you all for all y'all doing the broadcast and Slade for letting me run this league.
There's Chase Williamson, your winner. Now moving on to our 2nd place finisher. Definitely someone that is very known for finishing at least the top 3 nearly every single week. Clashing, once again, the consistency pays off. You finished P2 here at Bristol. Tell us how your race went, and was there anything you could have done differently there to possibly get the win today?
No, 14 was just flying, not making any mistakes. Maybe if I got around Flash a little quicker in stage 3, I might have been able to pressure him into maybe a mistake, but he was gone.
Yeah, absolutely. The 14 did look fast right there, but hey, you had a fast piece yourself. 2nd place finish right there. I know the JCR boys tend to work very well together. Talladega is next week, so knowing how you are as a person, how you guys run your team, I bet you guys are very excited about that. Tell me what you think about Talladega next week. You guys have a game plan already set in stone?
I've never won a plate track. I hate winning there because my goal is to get an Uptown win. I think that's going to be the JCR goal next week is get the number 18 in victory lane.
Well, hey, I like that strategy. We'll definitely make things interesting next week. But Clash in 2nd place again, your points leader as we head into the regular season finale as he looks to clinch a regular season championship. Clashin, congrats on your 2nd place finish. We'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Now moving on to our 3rd place finisher, last but not least, Slade Gravett. Man, you had an up and down race. It's been a couple weeks since I've spoken to you on the podium thing. Good to see you back up here. So tell me about it, Slade. Stage 1, you're up there in the top 3, 4. You're doing a pretty good job. First manual caution comes out for a spin in the back. You come down pit road and you come out as the leader. Looks as though you made a strategy call there and lost all your track position. Tell me what the strategy call was there. What was your mindset when it came to that call? And just tell me what it was like fighting all the way back up to a 3rd place finish.
Yeah, 2 tires. Don't do it.
We said that in the broadcast. I literally told Shady, I'm like, I think he took 2. I really think he took 2, and it was not working. You're probably better off taking no tires there, man.
Oh yeah, no, I literally, like I said, took the lead. I was in 5th, I think. I took the lead, and then immediately went back to 14th. I went straight to last. It was terrible. The car was way too tight. I plowed the wall down about 6-7 times just in that stint, and then once the car got loosened up, like middle of the run, I fell back to 11th. But that was rough. That little stint right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we kind of joked around how you if there was a all-state, safe driver or comeback award or whatnot, you're definitely the winner of it today, fighting all your way back up to P3. Tell all the viewers back at home, I mean, you and I have done this for quite a few years now, and we saw it tonight from you. How hard is it to just drive up and through the field here at a track like this? You think Bristol, where it's technically a multi-group track, it's very easy to pass, but that's not the case. Tell the viewers back at home how challenging it is and why it's so challenging.
Very difficult because, like I said, I started the race up there in sixth, got to fourth, fifth quickly, and then we did the two-tire strat, and it took me until the pit stop cycled through to get back to the top five because I was sixth when I pit. So it took me all the way back until pit stop cycled through, and when JWoww had to drop back and pit pretty early in stage 3 to actually get back in the top 5. So it was very difficult. And I got a little lucky at the end there. Flash and Mike made contact, and then Mike actually ran out of gas. That's how I got around him to end the race. So I was able to get back to P3, but it was my early run car. I was probably 7th, 8th place car, which is when we did get back going green stage 2 is where I was 7th or 8th. In the long run, we very good. I'd say we're probably, because I was even with clashing, catching Mike with a long run pace. So as laps wind down, we slowly made our way through the field, and then at the end, we got a little lucky there for a top 3 finish.
Absolutely, and Slade, P3 finish again. We're heading to Talladega. You're very well known for your plate racing here and there, and do we have a game plan set already? I know you're probably out of winning a regular season championship, but hey, every point does play a big factor here. So what's the strategy, man? We going for those playoff points?
So I'm kind of glad I actually made it top 3 this race because this is actually my last race of the season.
Oh.
My work schedule got changed, and so I will miss the rest of the season, unfortunately, that I know of, at least starting at Talladega and to the Roval I'll miss. So I'm still debating on what to do, if I just want to stay in the top 10 and take my 10th place money and points, whatever, or drop out and give to somebody else. But yeah, this was my last race for the season, so which kind of sucks. I was hoping to work with Brandon Trey and win next week, but no.
Now hold on a minute. Okay, so I broadcast this league. I try to do a good job here. I try to keep up with all the news and everything. And you're telling me here in the post-race interview that it's your last race of the season? You literally tell me the last race. Right. League owner himself, ladies and gentlemen, for everyone watching this right now. This is his last race. Like literally. I literally had you as an underdog for the championship, and you're telling me it's your last race of the season as the league owner.
Yeah, I know.
Well, what the heck is that?
Tracks. I love Phoenix, I love the Roval, and I love Vegas. I love all 3 tracks, and I love Homestead.
Well, la-di-da, that's great. So, that's amazing. Yeah. That's great, and you won't even be in it.
No, I won't be in it. So yeah, so I'm still.
Is there a reason? Is there a motive behind it?
What? Not racing?
Yeah, his work schedule changed.
Yeah, my work schedule changed. The whole reason why I didn't run for the FTR championship because I was right where playoffs are. Then my schedule got changed there too.
I try to run a professional show here, right? I mean,
this is professional.
I don't get paid hourly for this or anything. I come out here just try to put on a professional show that knows everything going around in the league. Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. But the league owner himself is not racing the rest of the season, and I just find out this literally in the post race after our 3rd place finish when I literally had the decency to give you the comeback driver of the race. Well, guess what, my friend? You went from the back to the front, now back again. You went straight to the back again. I'm giving the comeback award to, I don't know who I'm giving it to. Fine, let's give it to JWoww. The man who finished 2 laps down, Wall Road 3 and 4 to try to pass Mike. Kudos to him for sticking with it. But Slade Gravett, ladies and gentlemen, 3rd place and now no longer a driver in PRCS. CS for at least this season at the very until further notice, I guess.
Yeah, it sucks, trust me. Because like I said, same thing with the FTR championship. I had to cut that early and didn't really run for championship there, and then here's this now. So
I'll tell you what, if you stay and you get your 10th place points, you hand that money over to the broadcast team here. How about that?
I will. I'll hand over my $10 to you.
Wow, $10. Woo!
I'm on a volunteer basis.
That's a quarter tank of gas, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Amazing stuff. Nah, it's all fun and games here. Slade, Good job on the third place finish. Sorry, it's your last race. If anything, I would love to see maybe an extra playoff spot given to somebody. I think little 2013 Jeff Gordon kind of thing maybe happening here. That could be really cool. Or at the very least, I mean, we'll just got to see what happens. You're the league owner. This is your time to shine, to make a decision that's going to make everybody happy. So you think about that, Mr. Boss Man, after quitting on everybody. But Slade Gravett, ladies and gentlemen, with the P3 finish there. We love to have some fun here. That was definitely a funny moment there. Tough to see him go, but at least he got a third place finish and had a good comeback.
That's right. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, of course, of course. Well, with that, that is going to be the end of the show here. And any closing thoughts, Shady, on the race?
Man, it was another heck of a race, man. Another great showing, and everything has been building and building and building for one heck of a showdown for the season finale next week at Talladega. So we're going to go plate race at Talladega and find out who's going to come away the regular season champ.
Absolutely. Talladega, definitely the right place to be to end a regular season. And you guys can catch that here next week at 8 o'clock Eastern right here on Sloppy Joe's YouTube channel. That's me. But you can see it here at 8 o'clock. So be here to see the regular season finale and see who will race for a championship in PRCS. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Joey Stone. He is Shady. And we'll see you guys next week here at 8 o'clock for the regular season finale. Goodbye, everyone, and have a great rest of your night.